Good morning. My name is Corina Ene. I am with the Office of Federal Programs at the Oklahoma State Department of Education. I would like to welcome you on behalf of Superintendent Hofmeister to the Evaluation and Plan Revision in Schoolwide Schools webinar. This is the last webinar in the series of Schoolwide and Targeted Assistance webinars that the Office of Federal Programs has presented for the new fiscal year. So if you are with me today, you have probably watched the previous 6 webinars. Under ESA Section 1114B3, Title I Schoolwide Plan is described to be mandatory to be regularly monitored and revised as necessary based on student needs to ensure that all students are provided opportunities to meet the challenging state academic standards. Why is plan evaluation necessary? Before the effectiveness of the plan is measured, it is necessary to determine if the plan is being implemented as intended and if it reaches the desired results. If certain strategies prove ineffective, the evaluation will lead to dropping obsolete strategies that do not meet the needs and search for new venues to improve student outcomes. In order to meet the Oklahoma State Department of Education expectations, the narrative in Section 5 of the Schoolwide Plan must describe how leadership, including families and community stakeholders, regularly monitors and adjusts the implementation of the Title I Schoolwide Plan based on short and long-term goals for student outcomes and evaluates high-quality implementations. Also, it must describe the monitoring and revision of the Title I Schoolwide Plan, and this should include regular analysis of multiple types of data, for example, student learning, demographic, process, perception data, and provide necessary adjustments to increase student learning. It must also describe how school leadership, including families, community, stakeholders, and instructional staff, regularly analyze interim and summative assessment data to evaluate instructional practices, determine patterns of student achievement, growth and changes in growth gaps across classrooms, grade levels, and content areas. Monitoring and adjusting the implementation of the Title I Schoolwide Plan should be done by the school leadership in partnership with families and community stakeholders, who should ensure the progress and quality of the Title I Plan takes place by checking if all Title I activities are carried out in accordance with federal compliance guidelines, if the strategies and initiatives outlined in the plan are implemented, if the short and long-term academic achievement goals are met, and if the plan implementation is in compliance with budgetary guidelines. Keep in mind that Title I plan monitoring is not a one-time event. It is about how the Title I director effectively implements and supervises the Title I programs in each school to ensure fiscal and programmatic compliance in addition to the actions that each school leadership takes. You should avoid looking at the Title I plan once a year when it must be submitted to the State Department of Education, and instead look at this implementation on a regular basis. For a successful Title I plan monitoring and effective corrective action steps, the Title I director should develop clear procedures regarding the submission and implementation of the Title I plans and disseminate these procedures to all schools. Should establish clear expectations and set deadlines for documentation submission. Should organize the documentation by school and offer additional support to those schools who fall behind. Should closely scrutinize the expenditures submitted by each school to make sure they align with the budget proposed by the school. Should periodically walk through each school and give feedback to the principals, and if necessary, should make mid-year adjustments to adapt to unforeseen circumstances. Analyzing multiple types of data to increase student learning. You should probably use the Comprehensive Needs Assessment or the CNA tool as a resource of multiple types of data to analyze. For example, student performance, graphics, processes, and perceptions. Should avoid looking at limited types of data which are not aligned to the expected outcomes, and should analyze the data and determine if the data indicate any student learning improvement. Use interim and summative assessment data to evaluate instructional practices and to determine patterns of student achievement. Determine growth and changes in growth gaps across classrooms, grade levels, and content areas. Do not limit the involvement of only the school leadership and instructional staff into data analysis, but instead include families and community stakeholders as well. Do not use summative and sporadic formative assessments, but use interim assessment on a regular basis to be able to promptly address any changes needed. What do you do after analyzing the data? You'll write a clear, concise report about the data analysis results, a description of evaluation procedures, an explanation of how the data were analyzed, strengths and weaknesses revealed by the data, and then draw a conclusion with recommendations. Provide the roadmap for continuous improvement of students in the Title I Schoolwide program, and make any necessary adjustments to improve student learning. To wrap the evaluation and plan revision section in the Schoolwide plan, you will do that when you finalize this section, and you will take input from the stakeholders. And if no adjustments are needed or suggested, you will conclude the development of the Schoolwide plan. Before I end the presentation again, I have on this slide helpful hints for completing the plan as PDF document. Use either Adobe Acrobat Reader, which is a free application, or Acrobat Pro, which requires a license to be purchased. Type the responses directly into the PDF form in the designated text box. When typing on the form, the text box does not change, and one must continue scrolling down to complete the responses. Cannot paste into or attach graphs and charts to the form, but may upload graphs and charts in the grants management system in addition to the template. However, the graphs and charts should be converted to PDF. If you have any questions, my email address and the phone number are on the next screen, on the next slide. Please contact me anytime, or you can contact Debbie Fang, who is the Schoolwide and Targeted Assistance State Coordinator. I'd like to thank you for being patient and for watching all the webinars in the series of Schoolwide and Targeted Assistance webinars for the current fiscal year. And until I receive any questions, I wish you to have a good day.